Oi, stupid technology. Oi. Anyway, so how's it going, everybody? I had a preview, and it just crashed, and it stunk because I had highlights this time. But so I apologize for this being so late. So the Seattle Seahawks are going to travel down to Atlanta to play the Falcons in the NFC Divisional Playoffs. Game starts tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific time. I actually am okay with playing the Falcons on the road. I know that some people are kind of, they would kind of rather be in San Francisco. We're familiar with San Francisco. We play them twice a year. We just recently came off a massive win against them. Plus, Russell Wilson had one of his worst games in San Francisco, and he's improved since then. However, I'm okay with playing Atlanta, and I'm okay with playing Atlanta for this reason. Last year, I went to the Atlanta Falcons game when they came here to play the Seahawks, and we were not as good as we were this year compared to last year. We didn't have a lot of depth. The defense was still trying to figure out its identity. We didn't have guys like Bruce Irvin or Robert Turbin as well. Running game, it had depth, obviously, with Marshawn Lynch, but the third down back or short gain was Justin Forsett. At quarterback, we had Tavares Jackson as the starter and Charlie Whitehurst as the backup. And going back to the defense one more time, they were really streaky. They didn't really peak or really start to get a groove until the second half of the season last year. At the receiving core last year, nothing to take away from who we had, like Doug Baldwin. He had a great year. But we also had guys like Mike Williams, a feel-good story, but unfortunately tapered off. Golden Tate was still learning what to do. Sidney Rice was banged up. And so we had, and not only that, Pete Carroll had a pile of turnover compared to the previous year when we won the division at 7-9. So there you go with that. That being said, despite all those ups and downs, we almost came back and beat the Atlanta Falcons. Yes, we almost had Tavares Jackson lead the team down the field and kick a game-winning field goal. Now, granted, that was the course of the game where we kicked a 61-yard field goal. I've already talked about that. You know where I stand on it. But my point is, we were down 24-7 in that game, and we came back to make a game of it, to the point where all we needed was a field goal, and we win that game. All of a sudden, maybe if we win that game, we finish the year 8-8. I'm just saying. So the fact that we did that well against the Falcons, the defending #1 seed from the playoffs the previous year, I believe it gives us a good chance to win this year. Not only that, Atlanta, as of right now, yes, they're playing a chip on their shoulders. Yes, they have a lot of issues in terms of winning in the playoffs, and I understand that. I also got a lot of respect for the team. I'm not here to rag on the Falcons and say they're a terrible team. I actually think they are a legitimate team. I mean, they're contenders every year for the NFC South. There's nothing really I can say. They're a good, solid team. I like Matt Ryan. I actually, when I was doing sports talk radio at Central Washington University, we did an NFL draft, and we actually predicted him going to the Atlanta Falcons in the first round. I mean, that's just how, that's how much respect I have for the guy. I also understand they have Michael Turner. They got guys like Julius Jones. They have a lot of guys that can beat you. And they also have Tony Gonzalez. Yes, I am nervous about him as well. However, this team does not know how to win when it counts compared to Seattle. We just won our first playoff game on the road since 1983. So we know what it takes to get it done. Particularly, we know what it takes to get it done when we're behind. We were down by 2 touchdowns last week. But basically, Atlanta is hurt. That's number one. And number two, instead of resting their starters in the final week of the season, their coach Steve Smith decided to play everybody in a meaningless game. So I think there are some nerves. I really do think there is some nerves. If the Seahawks can bounce on the Falcons early, that's going to be the key. And I think that we will win that game if we can jump on them early. If we fall behind by 2 touchdowns, it's kind of a toss-up at that point. But again, we were down by 24-7 at halftime last time we played the Falcons with a team, like I mentioned, that didn't have what we have this year. Like the best corners in the NFL, one of the best defenses in the NFL. We didn't have Russell Wilson back then. We didn't have we had Marshawn Lynch, but we didn't have a depth of the running game. It was just him. We have a great receiving core. Sidney Rice is healthy. We got Golden Tate. We have a lot of there's a reason why we have a chance to win this game. And if we can do what we did to Atlanta, only this time come through, or play like the way we did in that second half against Atlanta, we got a good shot of winning our second road playoff game in these playoffs. We got a very good shot. So that's what I got. I will recap the game as soon as possible. Unfortunately, I might miss it, but I will definitely have it on the radio. But I will be following it. I will recap it as soon as possible. Thanks for watching. Let's go Hawks. Let's go to the NFC Championship game. Talk to y'all later.